I'm cringy. Okay. Hey guys, it's Precious. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, well now you do. I'm basically gonna be giving you tips on how to get good grades. All these tips are things that I've learned over the years, so I want to give y'all some of my knowledge because I would constantly watch videos like this and I would always try to figure out like what is the best way for me to study. I found that, and so now maybe I can help you. So let's just get into it. First, before we get into the actual tips, let me tell y'all about my academic history because you want to know who you're getting your information from. Currently, I'm a senior in high school. I have a 4.0. Hopefully that doesn't change, but for all of high school, I've taken honors, I've taken a few dual classes, and currently I'm taking an AP class, and it's the only one I've ever taken. So from all of that, I've definitely seen the difference on how hard you should study for each kind of class. When I was younger, like in elementary school, my grades were like average. I mean, I was getting A's, B's, and probably some C's in there too. And in middle school, that's when I like really started caring about my grades. And I think I only got one B in middle school, but I was always like the type of kid who never had to study. Like I could just listen in class and like I'd kind of get it for the most part. But then when I got to high school, I realized how much I actually did need to study because I was taking harder classes. And so here I am now. Okay, the first thing you need, this is gonna sound cheesy, but you need some type of motivation. If you don't have motivation to do something, then you're not gonna want to do it. I think the best motivation is to do something for yourself and to make yourself feel good about doing whatever you're doing. But I know a lot of people will strive to get good grades like for their parents or to prove their intelligence to other people. Some people just do it for colleges or even to just like look good in front of people. Find your motivation. I think your core motivation should be for you, but that's all on you. Figure that out. And once you have that, you can really start focusing on how to get those grades. Okay, one thing you have to do is be organized. If you're not organized, then you're just gonna be so scatterbrained that you're not even gonna be able to do what you need to do. So just know your dates, get a planner, or use like the reminders app, use your calendar app, use whatever. I like to use Notion. I know some people don't like using that because it can be confusing, but I do also have a planner, but I always forget to write in it. But that's besides the point. But you need something to keep your dates and assignments in. Let's talk about your notes. You need to take good notes. I know this sounds obvious, but I don't know. Maybe you don't take good notes, or maybe you just don't know how to take good notes, and now you want to know how to take good notes. I've realized teachers like to give their notes out differently. I've had teachers who like to print notes out and then like have you follow along in class, and then I've had teachers who want you to write every single thing down. They write on the board. But if you're writing your notes, make sure you write legibly. I know sometimes you can't really help it, but try your best. Writing in color definitely does help. You don't really have to color code everything, but like if you're gonna write your notes, take like a blue pen and write it all in blue pen, because like scientifically it helps with like memorization, I'm pretty sure. Or you can just write in pencil, but if you do that, I suggest you go back over it with a highlighter. Like once you're done writing all your notes, when you're studying, you need to go back over everything you just wrote and like highlight the important parts so that can stick out. And if like your teacher gives out printed notes, you can still do that too. Also, like in class, like I feel like if I'm using colored pens and if I'm trying to make my notes look cute, it makes me more, I don't know if excited is really the right word because I'm really not excited, but it makes me more interested in taking the notes. So maybe that's how you are. Also in class, if you miss something or if you don't understand it, ask the teacher, because literally that is like one of the biggest problems I feel like within students, especially in high school. Like I feel like teenagers just don't want to seem like they don't know what's happening, so they won't ask a question in the middle of class. That's like bad on you in the long run. But you don't have to ask it in the middle of class. You can ask it after class, you can ask it before class, in between classes when there's nobody around, like if you don't want to seem like someone who doesn't know what's happening, because I definitely get that, but it's literally their job to teach you, so ask questions. Next, time management. You're looking at a grade A procrastinator right here. I am so bad about procrastinating and just putting things off to the last minute, but I try to, you know, not do that. But literally just don't do it. That's like some of my biggest advice. It goes hand in hand with the staying organized, because if you're organized and you know when you need to do your stuff, then you will know when to not procrastinate, basically. But make sure you have enough time to study before your test. My advice is to study as soon as you know about the test. If you don't do that though, study at least like a week before the test, like at least a week, no less than that, because I feel like at that point you're cramming stuff in and it just doesn't stick like it should. Also, if you have free time in class, use it to do your school stuff. Do your homework, study for whatever you need to do, read whatever you were assigned to read. Literally do it in school so you don't have to worry about it after school, because like you don't want to do schoolwork when you're not at school. It's better to do it all at school and then just not have to think about it when you're at home trying to not think about school. So yeah, think about that. Okay, your environment. This plays a big factor in your whole studying process, because if you're studying in a place that you cannot focus, then you're not gonna be able to retain any information. So I think you should always study in a place that you feel comfortable in. If it's like your room somewhere at home, if you want to go out like to a coffee shop or a library or something cute like that, go there. Usually I just study in my room because I don't want to see anybody. But study somewhere where you can lay all your stuff out and have your space and have your peace and quiet. Now, avoid studying in the bed. If you want to study in your room, please don't study in the bed. That's one of the worst ideas ever. Speaking from experience, you'll end up falling asleep, or you'll probably just want to stop studying sooner rather than later because you're comfy enough to where you could fall asleep. So don't do that. That's a big no. If you like listening to music while you study, get a good little playlist. You can find plenty on Spotify. Usually classical music is like what they say you should listen to, or like some type of like soft instrumental, I guess. And then also a big part of your environment, technology. Turn the TV off, put your phone on do not disturb. Just don't get on your phone, please. I'm being serious. Don't do it. Make sure to use your resources. And this is gonna sound like hypocritical from what I just said. I guess hypocritical is the word, juxtaposition, a 180. I don't know. But this is gonna sound like opposite of whatever I just said. But there are plenty of resources like online that can actually like help you. And I feel like a lot of people don't actually know that, or at least they don't know what is good and what's not good. Like for math, I've always looked at stuff on Khan Academy. They have good tutorials on how to do things. I feel like everybody uses Quizlet. I'll put some more like of my favorite websites to use on the screen, but I can't really think of any right now. But those are like the main two that I can think of right now that I've always used. And then on top of that, teachers. Like you might not think teachers are a resource, but literally they are. They have all the information. Ask your teachers questions, like for real. Okay, here are like some general study tips for like each subject. So math. The way I've always studied for math is practice problems. You gotta do practice problems. That's kind of the only way you can really study for math. That way you can actually understand what you're trying to do, because if you're doing it, that's how you learn it. If you have to memorize formulas, then flashcards would be good for that, or like just rewriting the formulas over and over again, which may seem annoying, but it'll help, trust me. And same with definitions. If for some reason you need to know definitions for a math class, then flashcards. Okay, English. Usually for English, it's like more book stuff. So if you have to read something, read it out loud. So that way you're hearing yourself say it, you're reading it with your eyes, you're thinking it. So you're bound to remember it better that way. If you're reading a book, then you can get the audiobook and follow along to the audiobook. That way you're hearing it and you're seeing it. So you won't miss anything that you would miss if you were just listening to it while you're doing something else. Okay, science and history, I'm grouping those together. Honestly, for that, you just really need to read over the material. Again, reading out loud, making flashcards. And for science, I know you might need to do problems for that, so you could do practice problems for science too. Now let's talk about like last minute study tips, because let's be real, yes, we're watching this video, but will we really follow all of these suggestions? Maybe, maybe not. I know sometimes I don't always do this. As I said before, I like to procrastinate, and sometimes I study 2 nights, 1 night in advance of the test. So if you're in that situation, this is what you need to do. Cram as much as you can the night before. Obviously you haven't studied, so you're literally gonna need to do this and try to get as much as you can in your head so you can remember it. But go to bed at a reasonable hour and do not stay up till like 1 or 2 in the morning studying. That'll just make you tired and you won't be able to focus as well, and you won't feel good. Like you just won't feel good about yourself. Now it's a test day. Right before the test, you need to look over your material again. If you wake up early enough to where you can study and you're not dead tired, then yes, study some more. But right before the test, you need to study what you don't know, like right before the test. And once you're done looking over that and you have to put your notes up and you get the test, try to find the part where whatever you just studied that you didn't know, try to find where that is on the test. Because if you just studied it, it'll be fresh on your mind and you have a better chance of getting the question right if you do this. I don't even know if I explained that right, because that kind of just sounded not right. I guess we'll see later. And if all this cramming doesn't work and you know you're not gonna do good on the test, my best advice here is try to skip school, which may not sound like, you know, responsible advice. But if you have the ability to skip school and like, you know, it really won't affect like anything conduct wise for you, and if your parents are okay with it, explain the situation to them obviously, but skip school and take that day to study. Like what is the teacher gonna do? Like as long as you have your parents backing you up, then. But if you're like someone who regularly skip school, then maybe you shouldn't do this. But like, if you're someone who doesn't really skip school, like no one's gonna notice. But like for real, if it's a big test and you know you won't be able to do good, you could consider that. I mean, I've never actually done it, but I would do it if I needed to. Okay, last part. So you took the test and you didn't do good on it at all. You knew you weren't gonna do good, but you still came to school. You tried your hardest to study. It just wasn't clicking and you still bombed the test. You should always try to talk to your teacher about either retaking the test or doing extra credit. Because I mean, at this point, what do you have to lose? You also need to remember that it is just one test. Now I get if you're failing like a bunch of tests and you're not able to retake them, but maybe you should talk to the teacher about that or like get a tutor. But if that's not the case and you just like failed one test and you can't retake it, honestly, you just gotta work harder the next time. Don't think about it, because at this point there's nothing more you can do about it. Yes, it'll bring your grade down, but you will definitely have more opportunities to bring it up. You just need to put the work in and believe in yourself and all that motivational stuff, because you are more than a test score. Yay. But for real, don't let one bad grade ruin your whole mood, because honestly, in a year you'll probably forget about it, because you'll probably have bigger problems. That's all my tips. I almost just fell. But that's honestly what I go by, and it's gotten me this far. So maybe you'll be able to get somewhere with it. I'm definitely someone who needs all the help she can get. I know I said I do have straight A's, but like, that doesn't mean I don't struggle. Trust me, I get bad grades too, but I always find my way out of it. And if I can, then you probably can too. I hope my tips helped. If they didn't, then I don't know, maybe watch another video. I definitely do think this is a way to get good grades if you stick to it. And let me emphasize the good grades part, because doing all this stuff will definitely boost your grades, but it also depends how much of yourself you put into all of that. Like if you study but you don't take good notes, then yes, your grade will get better, but it would be better if you took good notes. So all of these tips definitely work together, but if you do all of these, you can probably be a straight A student. I hope the rest of your day is amazing, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.